The most epic battle of all time is about to begin, where legends will clash and destinies will be written. The question that's been echoing in everyone's mind, the ultimate doubt that has kept us all in suspense, will now be answered once and for all. Get ready, because what you're about to witness will change everything. You've probably heard it before, the age-old debate that's fueled campfire conversations, online forums, and even heated discussions between survival experts, knife or hatchet. It's a rivalry that goes beyond just tools, almost like a clash of ideologies. The question of which is better has been at the core of bushcraft arguments for as long as anyone can remember. Some swear by the precision and portability of a good knife, while others wouldn't dare step into the wilderness without the power and versatility of a hatchet by their side. Today, we're not just looking at the specs and strengths of these tools. We're diving deep into the roots of this feud. For years, knife enthusiasts have mocked the hatchet as too bulky and unnecessary for most survival scenarios. Meanwhile, hatchet lovers laugh off the knife, claiming it's nothing more than a glorified butter knife when faced with the rugged tasks of the wild. So, which side is right? And more importantly, is there even a definitive answer? We're going to settle this once and for all. This isn't just a head-to-head comparison. This is an epic showdown, a battle between two of the most iconic tools in survival history. Will the knife's precision and versatility reign supreme, or will the hatchet's brute force and efficiency win the day? Let's break it down. But before we crown a victor, let me tell you, this rivalry is far from simple. Strap in, because the truth is more nuanced than you might think. And hey, don't forget to check the comments below. You'll find a special coupon along with various models of knives and hatchets for you to choose from. Whether you're looking for a reliable knife, a sturdy hatchet, or even both, we've got you covered. Grab yours now and gear up for your next adventure. The knife? Versatility unmatched? Let's begin by discussing the knife. This tool is often hailed as the ultimate multitasker. Light, compact, and capable of handling an impressive range of tasks, the knife is a true companion for any bushcrafter. Whether you need to skin game, carve wood, or cut through thick vines, the knife is always there for you, ready to slice and dice its way through the wilderness. Its precision is unmatched. You can prepare delicate feather sticks for a fire, or even whittle tools out of raw materials found in the wild. The knife is fast, it's agile, and it fits comfortably in your hand, making it perfect for those quick tasks that don't require brute force. But here's where the foreshadowing begins. While the knife is extremely versatile, it has its limitations. In the wilderness, where the unexpected can happen at any moment, those limitations can creep up on you when you least expect it. What happens when a task requires more than just precision? When sheer force is needed, and the knife simply isn't enough? We'll get to that. But for now, understand this. A knife is an essential tool, but only when used within its boundaries. The hatchet, power and precision? Now, onto the hatchet. A symbol of raw power and survival grit, the hatchet has been a go-to tool for many outdoor enthusiasts for good reason. Unlike the knife, which excels at precision, the hatchet dominates when it comes to brute strength. You can chop through thick wood, split logs, and even fell small trees. In a survival scenario where you need to build shelter quickly or create a long-lasting fire to keep the cold at bay, the hatchet is indispensable. But the hatchet's strength is both its greatest asset and its biggest drawback. It's heavier, more cumbersome, and not as easy to wield in tight spaces. Its power can be dangerous if not handled correctly. Swinging a hatchet recklessly, especially when you're tired or distracted, can lead to mistakes, dangerous mistakes. Losing control of a hatchet in the middle of the wilderness could turn a survival situation into a crisis. Think about this. In the middle of a storm, when your hands are cold and shaking, do you really want to be relying on a tool that requires perfect control? Let's bring these tools into the real world. Picture this scenario. You're caught in an unexpected storm. The wind is howling, and you need to construct a shelter fast. You pull out your knife and start cutting branches. It works, up to a point. But when you get to the thicker wood, the knife struggles. Now imagine you had a hatchet. With a few well-placed swings, you've got the wood you need to build a sturdy shelter in minutes. But here's the flip side. Now imagine you're trying to create a snare to catch small game. You need delicate precision, the kind of control a knife offers. The hatchet? It's too bulky. It's not designed for such fine work. You see, both tools have their strengths, but those strengths are situational. The real question is not which is better overall, but which is better in that specific moment. And in the wilderness, moments are everything. Here's where we get to the heart of the debate. On one hand, you have the knife, lightweight, versatile, easy to carry. On the other hand, you have the hatchet, powerful, robust, capable of taking on larger tasks. But you can't always carry both. In survival situations, weight matters. Every ounce in your pack is another ounce you have to lug across unforgiving terrain. So, how do you choose? The knife gives you versatility, but at the cost of raw power. The hatchet gives you strength, but at the cost of precision and ease of use. In a perfect world, you'd have both. But out here, in the wilderness, perfection isn't always an option. Sometimes, you're forced to make decisions that have lasting consequences. And when the sun goes down and the temperature drops, you'll quickly learn whether your decision was the right one. Here's where things get dark, literally and figuratively. The knife, for all its versatility, might fail you when you're trying to split thick logs for a fire. Imagine it snapping under pressure, leaving you with nothing but a broken blade and no other option. Now you're stuck in the cold, with no way to build the fire you desperately need. Or imagine the hatchet, heavy, unwieldy, dragging you down as you try to trek through thick brush. Its weight slows you down, and before you know it, darkness has fallen, and you're miles from where you need to be, struggling under the burden of the very tool that was supposed to save you. So, which tool should you choose? The answer isn't simple. It depends on your needs, your environment, and the specific challenges you're likely to face. If you're looking for precision, if you're dealing with small game, or if you need a lightweight tool for quick tasks, the knife is your best bet. But if you're facing down large obstacles, if you need to build, chop, and hammer your way through the wilderness, then the hatchet's power is unmatched. Ultimately, survival isn't about choosing the right tool. It's about choosing the right tool for the situation you're in. Now, let's think about nighttime in the wilderness. Imagine you're miles away from civilization, and the only light you have is the dim glow of the moon. You're cold, tired, and you need to set up camp fast. Every noise in the dark feels like a potential threat. You fumble for your knife. It's quick to access, and its precision allows you to slice through rope and branches swiftly, even with shaking hands. You manage to create a basic shelter and prepare some firewood. But what if the branches are wet? What if you're dealing with larger logs that a knife can't handle? This is where the foreshadowed limitations of the knife come into play. In a situation like this, a hatchet could be the difference between a warm, protective fire and a long, cold night of vulnerability. The knife may have helped you with the finer tasks, but without the hatchet's power to process large amounts of wood quickly, the fire may never grow strong enough to keep you safe and warm. This is the reality of wilderness survival. Sometimes precision isn't enough. Sometimes you need brute force. But let's not forget the other side of the coin. The hatchet, while powerful, comes with its own burdens. Its weight can be a hindrance, especially when you're tired and every ounce counts. If you're already carrying heavy gear, adding a hatchet to your pack might slow you down. And in survival situations, speed can be just as important as strength. Picture yourself in a scenario where you need to move quickly. Maybe you're trying to outrun a storm, or perhaps there's a dangerous predator nearby. The weight of the hatchet could be the very thing that costs you precious time and energy, time that could make all the difference. Now imagine the toll that using the hatchet takes on your body. Swinging it repeatedly to chop wood can be exhausting, especially if you're already tired or injured. In this case, the power of the hatchet becomes a double-edged sword. It's great when you need it, but the physical toll it takes on you can leave you vulnerable in other ways. It's a reminder that survival is never just about the tool. It's about how you use it and how well you can manage the consequences of your choice. Let's take a moment to delve into the darker side of this debate. Imagine this scenario. You've chosen your tool. Maybe it's the knife, light and versatile, or maybe it's the hatchet, powerful and imposing. You're feeling confident, thinking you've made the right choice. But then, disaster strikes. You're halfway through building your shelter when the weather takes a sudden turn. A storm rolls in faster than you anticipated, and you're caught in the open. You pull out your knife, but it's too small to cut through the thicker branches you need to reinforce your shelter. The wind howls, and you're left exposed, regretting your decision not to bring the hatchet. Or perhaps the opposite happens. You chose the hatchet, thinking its strength would carry you through. But now, you're trying to prepare food or set up a trap for small game, and the hatchet feels clumsy in your hands. It's too big, too unwieldy, and you're struggling with the delicate work that a knife would have made quick and easy. The tools you brought with you are now holding you back, leaving you vulnerable. This is the reality of survival. Every choice has consequences, and those consequences can sometimes mean the difference between life and death. Beyond the physical demands of choosing between a knife and a hatchet, there's also a psychological element at play. In survival situations, your mindset is just as important as your tools. Carrying a hatchet might make you feel invincible. After all, you're holding a tool that can cut through almost anything. But that feeling of power can also lead to overconfidence. You might take risks you wouldn't normally take, believing the hatchet will solve all your problems. And when it doesn't, the crash of that overconfidence can hit you hard. Suddenly, you're left questioning your choices, and in the wilderness, doubt can be just as dangerous as the elements around you. On the flip side, carrying only a knife can make you feel agile and ready for anything, until you're faced with a task that requires more strength and precision. That creeping sense of inadequacy, the realization that your tool might not be enough, can eat away at your confidence. And when your confidence falters, your ability to make clear decisions falters with it. This is the unseen weight of survival, the mental strain that comes with every decision, every swing of the hatchet, every slice of the knife. It's a burden you carry alongside your tools, and it's one that can make or break you in the wild. We've come this far, and yet the question still looms: knife or hatchet? It's a debate that rages on in the survivalist community for a reason. There is no clear answer. Each tool has its strengths and weaknesses, and each one can be both a savior and a curse, depending on the situation. But here's the dark truth. No matter which one you choose, there will always be moments when you wish you had the other. That's the nature of survival. It's unpredictable, unforgiving, and often, the tool you didn't bring is the one you'll need the most.